May I proceed?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Dawson, you've been convicted of reckless driving before.
I believe so, yes.
You believe so?
Yes.
Mr. Dawson, that conviction went on your record.
Yes, but it was taken off after I did
Your Honor,
community service.
at this point, I'd like to object to improper character evidence.
Your Honor,
Aren't you a little late with that, counsel?
Well, the witness was still just beginning to give his testimony.
A response?
Your Honor, we're not offering this to show action in conformity therewith. The only reason that evidence of character or the evidence of past actions, past wrongs is inadmissible is to show action in conformity. We're offering this to show that Mr. Dawson knew about the dangers of driving drunk. We expect that the evidence to show that this case too involved alcohol, field sobriety tests, just like the case we have before us today. One of our elements is consciousness disregard. To do that, we have to show that he was aware of the dangers of driving drunk.
How do you respond to their argument that they're offering for knowledge and not propensity?
If they can lay the foundation that they will be offering it simply for knowledge, then in that case, it would be useful. But I still stand by my objection until it's laid.
Well, Your Honor, there's really no foundation that needs to be laid for that. It's just what we're offering this evidence for.
So what's your response to their argument that's knowledge?
I would still stand by my objection.
You're gonna have to overlook that.
Now, at the time that you got that conviction, you were 18 years old.
That's right.
You were in high school.
I was.
You got a fake ID,
Yes.
and you went to Chuggy's.
I believe so.
You had a few drinks.
Yes.
You and your buddy got into a car.
Yes.
You were driving,
Yes.
and you took off.
Drove, yes.
You were pulled over by a police officer.
That's correct.
You were administered field sobriety tests.
I was.
And you were placed under arrest.
Yes.
After you were placed under arrest, you pled the charge down to reckless driving.
That's correct.
Because of that conviction, you lost an important scholarship.
I believe that's one reason, yes.
Mr. Dawson, I want to talk about what happened when you and Vanessa were driving home from college. Now, she gave you a ride home, isn't that right?
She gave me a ride to Midland Center.
Right, back home from college. Did you both went to the same college?
We both go to college in East Hill. That's where I live. She gave me a ride from there to Midland Center.
And in exchange for her giving you a ride, you agreed to be the designated driver for the evening of her 21st birthday party.
No.
Mr. Dawson, are you telling this jury that you did not agree to be the designated driver on the night of Vanessa's 21st birthday party?
Before the party, there was talk. There was a possibility that I might be, but that was never set in stone. It wasn't until later, the actual day of the party that I found out Taylor Hobson was the designated driver.
Mr. Dawson, I'm not talking about Taylor Hobson right now. I'm talking about the conversation you had in that car. And in that car, you agreed that if necessary, you would be the designated driver.
I was informed there was a possibility that I might be.
And you agreed, in exchange for that ride home, you agreed to that deal.
I don't recall it being a qualifier. I don't recall ever agreeing to be the designated driver. I remember understanding that there was a possibility that I might be, however, that did not pan out.
I want to talk about what happened the next day at the bar when you believed it was a possibility that you could be the designated driver. You went to Chuggy's that day and you started having drinks.
That's correct. I arrived there about 2 p.m.
In fact, a bartender showed up and you had a conversation, the cab driver showed up and you had a conversation with him. And in that conversation, you told that cab driver you were pretty sure you wouldn't have to drive home.
That's correct. It was my understanding at that time that Taylor was going to be the designated driver. Unfortunately, Taylor drank a lot that night, so that didn't pan out as it should have.
So, Mr. Dawson, what you're telling this jury is that entire night, up until the very end, you did not believe you would have to be driving home that night.
I was not the designated driver, if that's what you're asking.
And you weren't worried about drinking because you didn't believe you would have to drive.
I wasn't the designated driver.
Mr. Dawson, that wasn't my question. My question was whether or not you were worried about drinking. And the answer to that question is no. You were not worried about drinking because you didn't believe you would have to drive.
I guess.
Mr. Dawson, you say that your limit is 1 drink per hour.
Correct, and that's how much I had that night, 1 drink per hour.
I want to talk about that a little more, Mr. Dawson. Specifically, I want to focus on the drinks that you had in the hour before you left the bar. Is that all right with you? I'm going to title this demonstrative, Drinks After 12 a.m. Mr. Dawson, after 12 a.m., midnight, you had a drink with the band.
Yes.
I'm going to write drink with band. After midnight, Mr. Dawson, you had a tequila sunrise.
Yeah, that was the last drink I was that night.
I'm going to write tequila sunrise. And after midnight, Mr. Dawson, you had another shot of alcohol.
I can't say with certainty that it was alcohol, though it might have been.
It might have been alcohol.
I can't say with certainty.
Mr. Dawson, isn't it true that that shot you had burned as it went down your throat?
It did a little, but when that round was ordered, I specifically requested water.
And
So I cannot say with certainty that it was alcohol.
Mr. Dawson, isn't it true that when you ordered that shot of water, everybody else ordered a shot of alcohol?
That's correct.
So when
Taylor and Vanessa included.
So when the server walked up with those drinks, she had 1 shot of water and then several other shots of alcohol.
Yes.
The shot that you drank burned as it went down your throat.
It did a little, though I cannot say with certainty that it was alcohol.
I'm going to write the burning drink.
Can we add a qualifier? We're not sure that it's alcohol.
Mr. Dawson, you can bring that up with your own attorney on redirect examination.
Also, I don't believe this accurately represents the drinks I had after 12 a.m.
Mr. Dawson, I'm sorry, did you not just agree to each and every one of these drinks that you had after 12 a.m.?
I did, but we're leaving some information out.
Mr. Dawson, you can cover that with your attorney on direct examination.
All I'm saying is this does not accurately describe the testimony.
Mr. Dawson, what I want to know right now is whether or not you had these 3 drinks after midnight, and you did.
Yes, I had the drink with the band.
You left?
Yes, I had the tequila sunrise, which is the last drink I ordered. And yes, I had this burning drink, which I cannot say with certainty that it was alcohol.
Okay, Mr. Dawson. There was a cab available outside for you, isn't that right?
Not just for me.
There was a cab available for anybody,
That's correct.
and you could have taken it.
I could have, but it was not necessary.
Mr. Dawson, you could have called Taylor's parents.
Theoretically, yes, but again, it was not necessary.
You could have called Vanessa's parents.
There again, theoretically, yes, but it was not necessary.
I want to talk about what happened when you got in that car to drive home. When you got in that car to drive home, you pulled out a radar detector.
Yes,
You turned the radar detector on,
that's correct.
and you set it up in the car.
Yes.
You took Canyon Road, isn't that right?
At Taylor's behest.
Now, you know that Canyon Road is more dangerous than some of the other routes you could have taken.
I'm aware that it has that reputation.
Mr. Dawson, you took Canyon Road because you believed that there would be fewer police officers on that road.
I'm aware that it has that reputation, though it was Taylor's suggestion that we take Canyon Road.
Mr. Dawson, the reason that you took Canyon Road is because you believed that there would be fewer police officers.
That was certainly a factor, but I wouldn't say that's the only, or even I wouldn't say that's the only reason.
Mr. Dawson, that was a factor in your decision to take the more dangerous route because you planned to make that trip in half the time that it would normally take a law-abiding citizen to take that trip.
I'm not aware how long it would take a law-abiding citizen to take it. I knew I wanted to get Vanessa home before curfew, though I wasn't going to do anything that endangered my life or the life of my friends in order to do that.
It's interesting you say that, Mr. Dawson, because you did speed on the way home, didn't you?
There again, in order to make curfew.
I'm not worried about why you were speeding, Mr. Dawson. I'm worried about whether or not you did speed, and the truth is that you did.
Yes, in order to make curfew.
Mr. Dawson, at one point, that radar detector lit up.
It did?
You knew you were about to pass a police officer,
Yeah,
so you slowed down.
that's correct.
You didn't want to get a ticket.
I don't believe that's an argument.
After you passed that police officer, you sped back up,
Yes.
and you started taking those curves on Canyon Road even faster. Mr. Dawson, it was at that curve on Canyon Road that you lost control of the car.
There was something in the curve, something in the road. I believe it was a deer or something. So I got off to the right to avoid. I didn't want to hit it. So I got off to the right. And as I tried to get back on the road, the car hit a puddle and hydroplaned. It was out of my control. There was nothing I could have done about it.
And after you lost control of the car, it hit a tree, it hit a utility pole, and Vanessa was killed. I passed the test.
Read it.
Yes, Ma'am, briefly.
Mr. Dawson, you said that this